fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine yourself for a moment in a life where your 5 senses are ignored, where sight fails to notice the colors, textures, shapes of the world around you. Perhaps it's the extravagant explosion of color and design in spring flowers, the soft hues in a lover's eyes, the radiant burst of reds, oranges, and pinks in a fading sunset off in the distance, all ignored, all unnoticed, experience missed. Imagine yourself for a moment in a life where you don't notice touch, taste, smell, sound, where all of it is missed by the busyness and activity and frantic energy of your everyday life. There's a quote by R.D. Laing that begins with these words: "The range of what we think and do is limited by what we fail to notice." Let me repeat that. The range of what we think and do is limited by what we fail to notice. Are we failing to notice our own lives? The answer is a resounding yes. So we're in a society that promotes multitasking, busyness. Our mind flits from one thing to another, and we're trained to squeeze as much activity and thought and emotion into single moments under the assumption it's going to make our life richer or more fulfilling. We focus on speed, on deadlines, on to-do lists and marking things off to-do lists, and we really miss the present moment. Travel back with me in time to my living room as I share an experience with you that I call the power of noticing. I was sitting in my living room in front of the window with 2 intentions: to read the Toastmaster manual for my next speech and to eat lunch. Multitasking, totally doable, right? 2 intentions. Within the first few minutes, I noticed that I was distracted. I wasn't paying attention to my lunch. I was failing to notice the colors and the flavors and the textures of my lunch. And I was failing to notice what I was reading. I wasn't comprehending the words on the page. My mind was totally distracted. Multitasking was not the ideal for me in that moment. So I stopped reading. And I brought my attention to the first task, my lunch. And when I did that, I noticed this beautiful white bowl that had this carefully prepared lunch in it. And I suddenly noticed the warmth of the sunshine coming in, touching my skin like a lover's caress. And there were birds like twerping and singing and chirping outside on the trees, having the best conversation. I don't have a clue what they were saying, but it sounded like a great conversation. And then I looked in this bowl. Sweet potato, soft orange and odd-shaped chunks. Celery, muted green, slightly mushy. Carrots, I had sliced them and they were like little wheels floating in the bowl. Mushrooms, they were soft, gray and white. And then there were Brussels sprouts. They were so tiny that I'd left them uncut, and there they were like little green balls floating in this beautiful red, spicy tomato coconut sauce. moment I'm a mouthful, and the explosion of flavor that hit my taste buds, oh my God, it was one of the most delicious lunches I had ever eaten. Every mouthful was superb. And only when I finished eating did I turn my attention to the manual. And I noticed the words on the page. I noticed the color of the ink. I noticed the thoughts in my mind that were being inspired by what I read. And it was the easiest speech that I ever created in Toastmaster. What did I learn from that experience? Well, I learned that multitasking diminishes my ability to be present. And when the power of presence is not there, the power of noticing is also diminished. What are you failing to notice in your life? I have a challenge for every one of you here tonight. For the next 7 days, I challenge you to be more present, to multitask more and single task less, and to expand the power of your noticing. In closing, I have changed R.D. Laing's quote just a little bit to this. The range of what we think and do is expanded by what we successfully notice. I challenge you to notice.